the jury decided, and the chairperson of the European panel for ECOG 2025 in Germany will announce their decision. Good afternoon and welcome to a live stream, because due to Corona, this will be a digital event. I will be your moderator. My name is Hans-Georg Möck and I'm responsible for communication of the Kulturstiftung der Länder, which carried out the selection procedure on behalf of the Kultusminister Conference. I'm still standing outside under den Linden, a place full of symbols, because marathons end here. And it's only a few hundred meters to where the finish is normally established. Today, another marathon comes to its end. 2 years ago, 8 cities started the ECOG competition 2025 for Germany. There are still 5 cities shortlisted: Chemnitz, Hanover, Hildesheim, Magdeburg and Nuremberg. We will transfer the decision of the panel from the European House, the headquarters for the Information Office of the European Parliament and the representation of the European Commission. But first we want to go to the 5 remaining candidates in the competition for the title ECOG 2025. And I welcome the people in the foyer of the City Hall. All cities would have liked to hold a public viewing. This is not possible today. You can see there is a physical distance of 1.5 meters due to Corona between the chairs. And now we go on to Hanover. Greetings to Hanover. We greet you back. Here we see the Lord Mayor and the bidding team in the City Hall. It's a somewhat smaller event because the Corona requirements differ from city to city, but there will be public viewing now in Hildesheim. Our greetings to you in Hildesheim. There is a public viewing at the Hildesheim City Hall. 177 people are allowed to come here. Here again, there is a distance, and Lower Saxony is the only land with 2 cities still competing. And now in Magdeburg, there a cultural party takes place. Since 11 o'clock, the party has been going on, and there will be a program extending to the evening together with the university. A cultural feast. It was a bit smaller in Nuremberg because there the Corona requirements are especially strict. Only the Lord Mayor, the second mayor and the head of the bidding offices are allowed to be here, and only some representatives of the press are allowed to be here. Hello from Nuremberg. We would have liked to stand here with many people, but unfortunately COVID-19 prevents this. But in Nuremberg, the whole city participated, the whole metropolitan region, and we invited everybody to join digitally, and we do hope that you all watch the decision, whatever it may be. And I welcome you back now from the European House, the right place for today's live stream. As you know, the ECOC initiative is a program of the European Union initiated in 1985 by the Greek Minister of Culture, Melina Mercury, adopted by the European Council and continuously developed. But the main vision behind the program has remained to visualize the richness and the diversity of the European culture. And the aim is to contribute to the understanding and encounter of the peoples of Europe. But who knows this better than the host of this event? And I welcome him from the European House while he is at home. He is waiting for his corona test result, which is very likely to be negative, as he says. Jörg Wojan is the head of the representative of the European Commission in Germany. Thank you very much and welcome in our headquarters, where ironically I cannot be there. We had been looking forward for a joint party, which is not possible, but we do what is possible during the time of Corona. You mentioned the marathon, and actually the whole reminds me of the Olympic Games. The difference is not many cities want to be the host for the Olympic Games, but many cities also in Germany want to be ECOC 2025. So we are very pleased about the candidate cities, and people are celebrating it, how difficult it is. Under Corona, we see in Berlin there is now a major demonstration for of cultural workers to show how difficult it is for them. It's all the more important that we keep up the banner of culture. One thing is clear: culture connects us, a similar culture, not an identical one. During these difficult times, we were all sitting at home, listened to internet concerts, we watched films, we read books, and it is for this reason, though culture played an important role, it's important that we are not discouraged, but that we go on and work on doing things together. And I think one thing is certain: in 2025 we will be able to do things together again. We in the European Union, in the European Commission, promote this process, but you are also aware that culture is a prerogative of the member states, and the member states do not want us to interfere too much. But it is very good that we can provide a framework with ECOC, the kind of framework we need in Europe, by bringing countries and cities together. There are always two ECOC cities. One, the one for Germany, will be announced today, and in December, the Slovenian capital of culture will be announced. Cultural support is always under budget pressure. As you know, the budgeting negotiations in the EU are now nearing its end until 2027, and we do hope that there will be enough funds for cultures, but we know it's not only about money, it's also about goodwill, enthusiasm, as we could see, and we will see even more once the title winner is announced. after a procedure. It's a marathon, it's an open, fair procedure that has led to the result that will be announced. There are no losers, there is one winner, but the others have also learned a lot. I saw it in Austria for ECOC 2024, and I saw that the candidate cities have learned a lot. So I can only thank the Kultusminister Conference and the Kulturstiftung for their organization of the process. Thank you very much and all the best. Thank you very much for these words, Mr. Voyan, and all the best. Before the next speaker, I would like to explain the responsibilities for the ECOC competition. The lead lies with the Länder, and the Kultusminister Conference as the responsible body. They decided to commission the Kulturstiftung der Länder. And after, in January last year, the Kulturminister Conference started its work under the umbrella of the Kultusminister Conference. It's now the Kulturminister Conference that carries out the task, if you can follow. This practically means once the recommendation of the panel is announced, it is the task of the chairman of the Kulturminister Conference to announce the capital of culture by the end of this year. But please remember the next speaker, the Bavarian Minister of State for Science and Art, Bernd Siebler, who is also the chairperson of the Kulturminister Conference, and he is the one who will announce the German capital of culture still this year. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's not as complicated. The ministers of culture and Mrs. Kutters deal with this process. During the last days and months, we have noticed how vital culture is for our society, staple food, so to speak. And in difficult times, we feel it especially. So it provides a solid fundament for this society, and Europe plays an important role. Art and culture are essential for stable social interaction, and it has become difficult, but we also feel that we can be proud of the cultural diversity. It has become a recipe of success to award the title ECOC 2024. Berlin was it in 1985, Weimar in 1999, Essen in 2010, and 2025 it will be again a German city, and it were outstanding cities and difficult for the panel. Each competition mobilizes creative potential, and it is a process that will make the cities who do not win the title to think about the project. It was a difficult and sophisticated process, but even now with Corona, we were able to change the process, to introduce digital formats. Last autumn, we were still in the cities for the pre-selection. This was no longer possible. Many things had to become digital. New formats had to be developed. This makes it difficult, but we have felt the enthusiasm. There were no city visits. Nevertheless, we had to ensure security. The alternative live streams and discussion rounds made high demands on everybody involved. And of course, it has changed the character of the event. But I do hope that after a difficult winter, we can return to more normality. But the commitment has been worthwhile. Many things that were developed will have a sustainable effect in the cities, and bridges can be built in Europe. Many impetus were developed for urban development. I would like to thank all the candidate cities for their enthusiasm, their passion, and I would also like to thank the panel. There are some people who like to make decisions. I'm not one of them, because I know all 5 cities have outstanding concepts. And I know that it was difficult for the panel for the final decision. Well, also the journey there is worthwhile. I would like to thank the Kulturstiftung of the Länder, Markus Hilgert, and now we are very curious to learn who will win the title. I'm looking forward to this decision. Thank you, Minister of State Siebler. You said it, 8 cities after the pre-selection 5 worked intensively for this. They networked, they took their city societies aboard for the title year. The organization lied with the Kulturstiftung der Länder. It was responsible for the whole organization, not only of this final event, but also for the pre-selection, the workshops with the city visits. They started months ago to consider how such a process is possible during times of Corona. One who was very close was Professor Dr. Markus Hilgert, the General Secretary. Thank you very much. Chemnitz, Hanover, Hildesheim, Magdeburg, Nuremberg. Can you hear me? Candidate cities, you are almost there. The wait is almost over. And the journey you started more than 2 years ago has reached a crossroads. I deliberately say crossroads and not endpoint, because regardless of which city may soon call itself the German European Capital of Culture 2025, I'm sure that all 5 candidate cities that have reached the final selection stage will continue on the path of urban development by and for culture. I'm also sure that you will do so out of conviction and with passion for the people in your cities, for the people who, with their diverse views of the world, their treasure of stories and their creative activities, make up the cultural wealth of each city and give it a distinctive face. Without people, there is no culture. Without culture, there is no community. The cultural foundation of the Länder, which organized and carried out the national competition process on behalf of the Standing Conference of the Ministers of Education and Cultural, was able to accompany you. We learned a lot from you in the process about your courage, your willingness to set out on a new path, and your conviction that culture is capable of bringing people into conversation with one another, even in places where there has been silence up to now. For me personally, this was the experience that moved me most, to see how the work on your application has strengthened cohesion not only in your teams but especially in your cities. That is precisely why I would be delighted if you would continue and develop with the same enthusiasm the exchanges and projects you have launched. And I hope that you will also receive the financial support you deserve for this. I was also very impressed by something else. When the Cultural Foundation of the Länder proposed this summer that the final phase of the national competition process be switched to digital formats, you took this risk willingly and with great openness. I would like to thank you very much for this. Today I can say with admiration that you have all mastered this challenge with almost bravura. For once again it has become clear that creativity can make use of any medium and can also appeal to people emotionally across spatial distances. You defied the difficult condition by inviting the European jury to make digital visits to your cities and by presenting your application in digital discussion rounds. This was the only way to bring the competition of the ECOG 2025 title in Germany to its regular conclusion. For this too you deserve our respect and thanks. Before Sylvia Ammann announces the name of the city that is to bear the title of ECOG 2025, I would like to thank all those with whom the Kulturstiftung der Länder cooperated closely. The chairman of the Standing Conference of Ministers of Culture, Minister of State Mr. Siebler, the Federal Government Commissioner for Culture and the Media, Minister of State Monika Grütters, the Secretariat of the Standing Conference of Ministers of Culture, and not least the European Commission. Our thanks also goes to the European Panel of Experts for their commitment and their flexibility in the digital competition finale. Above all, I would like to thank my colleagues at the Cultural Foundation who have done a truly outstanding job over the past 2 years, especially Linda Lücke, Mirko Treves, Hans-Georg Möck and Jennifer Scheibel. Dear colleagues, it is a pleasure to work with you. Now I will no longer keep you in suspense and hand over the floor to Sylvia Ammann. Sylvia, the floor is yours. Thank you, Professor Dr. Markus Hilgert. And now we come to the announcement. Sylvia Ammann is the chairwoman of an international European panel of experts, and only after hours of discussion they decided today, based on criteria like a visible long-term cultural strategy, the European vision, the outreach, and the capacity to deliver. But I do not want to hold you in suspense. Mrs. Ammann would have liked to be here, but due to Corona, she stayed in Austria. She will announce the decision of the panel of experts, and then we will go to the city that will be the talk of the day. Thank you very much, dear candidate cities. First of all, I would like to thank you on behalf of the whole panel of experts that you worked for culture and European cooperation, and that you enabled the ECOG 2025 competition in Germany under this situation. It's a big job to prepare a bid book, to have virtual city visits, and to participate in online hearing. This was an outstanding job. Thank you very much for your commitment and for all your activities. As I mentioned, after a long period of preparation, a decision was made. The panel came together, discussed based on the criteria, and a competition per se only has one winner. This is, of course, some matter of joy, but it can also lead to disappointment for those who do not win, despite the fact that it will only be one city. I now would like to address all the candidate cities, and I would like to invite you to keep up your commitment, to put the focus on art and culture and to understand it as a part of the solution for the current problems. And I would also like to ask you to continue to give a lot of room to European cooperation and exchange. Europe needs more than ever a climate of solidarity, and art and culture can make a contribution. The European project needs to go on, and it can only be built on cooperation and solidarity. Cities in Germany, including the candidate cities for ECOC, have done a lot. I would like to ask you, continue your work in this spirit. This appeal is due to the extraordinary situation in 2020. Nevertheless, now the moment comes of which you are all waiting. The panel for ECOC 2025 in Germany recommends the following city to be the European capital of culture, and we have again prepared an envelope. Chemnitz. Congratulations. These are great images from Chemnitz. You hardly dare to speak, but we will soon talk to Barbara Ludwig, the Lord Mayor, as soon as she comes and speaks to us. Welcome, Mrs. Barbara Ludwig, Lord Mayor of Chemnitz. Congratulations. Thank you very much. I thank for the trust shown in us by the panel. We are just happy, overwhelmed. It will be very, very good for the city. I just thought that you took a deep breath before you started. How relieved are you now? It was a journey with the other competing cities who also did a great job. So many participated and so many kept their fingers crossed, and that it was worthwhile and that we are the winner is a great feeling. Many participated. I followed it on the internet, and my impression was there were many people who liked your post. How did you manage to involve all of them during the last 2 or 3 years? It has been a development at the beginning when I talked to the public and said we want to become European capital of culture. Many people of Chemnitz doubted it, and then we started our projects to change things, and you could feel the changes. And then there was the events of 2018, when the city really reached certain limits, and it was painful, and this led to a new development. We need to do something and to show that we are much more than the pictures shown in 2018. A big broadcasting station had the headline, "How art and culture have changed the mood of in Chemnitz." Yes, I felt this too. Many people were involved, self-taught people, artists of the independent scene who felt taken seriously. Many people in Chemnitz who looked at it, and then they said, well, perhaps we can really become the European capital of culture. What is so special about the vote for Chemnitz? We see the Lord Mayor now, who after 2 terms in office has tomorrow her last day in the office, so it will be your farewell party. Will you continue to be involved in the procedure? But you know, the no Lord Mayor Sven Schulze was involved right from the beginning, so I hand over this project to him. I'm sure he will do a great job, and I like to pass on this task. I will follow the process, but the boss will be my successor. I have 1 or 2 questions about the content of your program. Well, imagine we come to Chemnitz 2025. What is in store for us then? Well, it will be a daring, ambitious link between cultural top performances and self-taught jobs. We have this 3,000 garages project. Artists from Europe will design their garages. Residents will open their garages because they make something. The maker motto is important. And there were many projects where grandparents and grandchildren do not only experience culture, but they will do something themselves. And then there is another action, 4,000 places related somehow to apple trees. You know, yeah, the region is also involved in our concepts, and we will have an apple tree parade. So there will be a story of each tree, and this is also a very beautiful project. So thank you very much, Mrs. Ludwig, for this talk. Congratulations again, and all the best. And this brings us to the end of this live stream by music played by the Bamberg Symphoniker from their sitting rooms. And I would like to thank you, and I wish you all the best. Bye bye.